Welcome to Fantastic Fiber Friday. I am back at my regular spot. We're not doing a behind the scenes video today, though I am going to show you a little something behind the scenes, which is kind of cool. I've been actually setting up my fiber studio, and here's my little schematic for my setup of the fiber studio, for my storage and ovens and everything. Make sure all my furniture would fit the way I wanted it to. But today we're actually going to talk about spindles. Now, I actually have a whole slew of spindles sitting here. But I'm going to start out with my first and favorite spindle, which is a CD spindle. This was the first spindle I ever bought and that I learned to spin on. And the nice thing about a CD spindle is it's very inexpensive. I think I paid $5 for it. It might cost like $5 to make one. It's just basically a dowel, a hook, a rubber grommet, and two CDs glued together with a little notch cut out of them. And another nice thing about let me straighten that back out, about a CD spindle is that it's very well balanced, and it is also very nice for plying with because you have this big whirl. So that is still one of my go-to spindles. I love this spindle. And then I kind of got into trying some other spindles. I tried some supported spindles. I was having trouble with my knees and trying to sit and spin and kind of leaning forward on my knees. So we tried this. This is called a Spindle In, and they come in different sizes. I have two here. I think they come in 4 now. And the different size whirls make for a different weight of yarn. And you just, there it goes. You just hold this part between your knees and spin working from the top. I used to throw my fiber over my shoulder and just go ahead and spin away. And I think I've got some cotton on here right now. And it did spin, this one spun a pretty fine cotton yarn. And this one, of course, spun a thicker yarn. And you just kind of, it works a lot like a bottom whirl spindle, but you actually do your cop on top of the whirl instead of underneath, because this will be sitting in the support. So that's another type of spindle I've used. And then I moved on to some other spindles. I got this one from Maine Woods Yarn and Fiber, and I cannot remember the couple's names, though they were very sweet people. I took some bunnies to them at one point and we did some trading, and I got this wonderful big spindle from them. Nicely balanced, good size, like the cute little flowers that are painted on it. And then I moved on. I found a friend of mine, her husband was making spindles. This come from what's she call it? Highlands, I think. It's a little bit of dust on these because they were all hanging back here. And her husband does things in different woods. I have 2 over here, but I pulled down 3 other ones to show you, and they have different weights of spindles. This one is cherry. This one is curly maple, I believe. Is that curly or is it burled, or do you remember?
It's wood.
You're so helpful.
You're welcome.
Bird's eye, that's what it's called. This is bird's eye maple. I fell in love with the bird's eye, so I had to keep one for me. I did order some to sell at that point. And then this is a nice, just regular maple. And of course, the beautiful cherry. And then I decided I wanted to order some other spindles and check out what other people sell. This is my student spindle that I buy now. They're very hardy. They can take a beating. Hold a good amount of yarn. I mean, this isn't even full yet. And these are my student spindles, and I have them in all different colors. And they're all around the same weight. They're great for beginners because if you do drop it, it doesn't matter because it's super hardy. And then I started playing with very light spindles. This was sent to me as a gift, and I actually love the little flower motif on it. it's pretty light, probably about an ounce, whereas these are all well over an ounce. I think these are just over an ounce. And then I got this one, which is actually under an ounce, and this actually has an inlay, a stone inlay on it. It's beautiful. And I'm trying to remember where I got that. I got it at Common Ground. I'm trying to remember the name of the girls who make them. But I'll try to search all that stuff up and put it underneath the video. And this one's under an ounce, so what I would do is I would spin on it, and when it got up to an ounce, I would take the fiber off because I didn't want it to thicken my fiber. But then I found the lightest spindle of all. This is called a Trindle. And as you can see, it's just got 3 little beads on it, and they come off for travel, which is nice. And this is like 3 grams. It spins a, if I can find the end here of what I was spinning, which I can't. Come on now, where are you? Can't find it. Well, I don't know if you can see, but that spins a super fine thread. And I wanted to spin this particular fiber it's a silk merino blend, very, very thin, so that I could do something pretty and lacy with it. Try to hold that up again, see if you can see that. But it's super light, and you can get different weights of beads to put on this, and they even have a mini one, I think. This isn't the mini one. That's even lighter. So it'd be very interesting to see what you could spin with that. Because you can go from like this with a wider whorl to this with a thinner whorl, a lighter whorl, to this. It's pretty light still. Maybe if I put these next to each other they can see the difference. To that with the Trindle. And last but not least, I want to show you one of my most prized possessions. This is a very old whorl. There is no spindle attached to it. It's made of clay, and that's about all I know about it. I found it at Beads, Baubles, and Fleece down in Ellsworth a couple years ago. And I'm going to hold it up so you can see the design on the front, which kind of looks like a flower. And on the back it's very geometrical. There's a cross on the back. And about the only thing I know about it is that it's made of clay. It's a very interesting piece, and I'm very careful with it because I don't want to break it. Though I have put a knitting needle through it and spun with it before. So there is a full plethora here of spindles. There's also spindles with a bottom whorl where you actually wind your cop on the bottom underneath the spindle. And sometimes they have a hook on top and sometimes they don't. There's also Turkish spindles, which I have not yet had the opportunity to try, but I'd be very interested in trying, because when you take off your cop on a Turkish spindle, it actually makes a center pull skein, which is pretty interesting. So that is everything, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week.